Welcome to the CyberGenerations virtual workshop. My name is Rachel Zimmerman. I am the Senior Director of Business Operations for Cyber Patriot, and I will be your instructor. As a reminder, the Air Force Association is a 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to educating Americans, advocating for aerospace power and STEM education, and supporting military families. AFA created the Cyber Patriot program in 2009 to excite and teach our youth about cybersecurity. In 2018, Cyber Patriot saw the need to educate older Americans about cybersecurity as well. That's when the CyberGenerations program was created. AT&T and Cyber Patriot collaborated on this program with the goal of teaching safe and confident use of technology to senior citizens. It is designed to encourage you to make wise choices regarding your online and mobile activity. Before we start this lesson, you will want to have a few items handy that we will reference during the video. The first is the CyberGenerations Virtual Workshop External Resource List. The second is the CyberGenerations Self-Paced Guide. These items can be found on the Cyber Patriot website, www.uscyberpatriot.org, in the Virtual Workshop page under the CyberGenerations tab. In the previous video, we discussed an introduction to cybersecurity. In this video, we will cover password management. Hopefully you are all familiar with passwords. In this section, we will cover why creating strong passwords is important and the steps you can take to manage passwords for your accounts. Follow along in the CyberGenerations Self-Paced Guide, pages 6 through 11. Passwords help protect our personal information on the internet, and they are often the only thing standing between cyber criminals and our sensitive data. A strong password is not only important, but absolutely necessary. These are some of the worst passwords you could use. In fact, most of them made the list of the top 100 leaked passwords in 2019. When creating a password, you do not want to use consecutive numbers or keyboard letters, names, dictionary words, or phone numbers or social security numbers. You also want to avoid passwords that people could guess based on things that they know about you, like your birthday, your address, name of your pet, or the name of your favorite movie. Hackers use algorithms and sophisticated programs to crack passwords. So the longer the password is, the more difficult it is to crack. Adding a single character to a password boosts its security exponentially. Complex passwords can contribute towards additional protection. To make a password harder to crack, always use a combination of uppercase letters, lowercase letters, numbers, and symbols. A simple common word can be cracked in fractions of a millisecond. Mix in lowercase and uppercase letters, numbers, and symbols, think @, %, and £, and your password can be secure for more than a decade. To see how adding these items to a password adds to the amount of time it takes to crack it, pause this video and go to the Better Buys Password Cracking Times website. There you can type in examples of good and bad passwords to show the amount of time it takes to crack. The link for the website is resource number 1 in the password management section of the CyberGenerations Virtual Workshop External Resources list. Another way to increase password strength is to use a passphrase. A passphrase is a short phrase used as a password in which you can substitute letters with symbols and numbers. Make sure that it is a random sentence that has some meaning to you and not a famous quote or phrase. 73% of people use the same passwords for all or most of their accounts. Why is it a bad idea to use the same password for your Facebook, email, banking, or healthcare accounts? Well, if you use the same password for every account, a breach in one system could make all your other accounts vulnerable as well. Having multiple passwords can be hard to remember. A simple trick is to start with a base password and then add an abbreviation to the beginning or end that reminds you what account it is for. Starting with a base password, we can add GMA to signify Gmail and FAC to signify Facebook. You could add any prefix or suffix you would like, as long as you remember what it stands for. The longer you keep a password, the longer attackers can attempt to crack it. If your password is vulnerable and at risk of falling into the wrong hands, then changing your password often will shorten the amount of time a criminal might have to access your information using the weak password. The recommended time to change passwords is once every 90 days. But if that's too often for you, make sure to change your password at least every 6 to 12 months. Do you have a password to unlock your phone or tablet? Mobile devices need passwords because mobile devices store personal information. According to AT&T, it is recommended you do the following depending upon your phone or device type. Secure it using a 4 or 6-digit PIN number. Add a fingerprint. Use facial recognition. Add a password. Adjust the time before your screen automatically locks. Many websites today use two-factor authentication when a person is trying to sign in. Two-factor authentication is a security process in which the user provides two different authentication factors to verify themselves to better protect both the user's credentials and the resource the user can access. For example, after inputting your password, the site may also send a text to your phone with a code or PIN that must be entered to gain access to your account. Generally, you need two of these three pieces of information. Something you know, such as a personal identification number, PIN, password, or a pattern. Something you have, such as an ATM card, phone, or fob, and something you are, such as a biometric, like a fingerprint or a voice print. A simple search on the internet can tell you exactly how to turn on two-factor authentication for different websites. A password management system is a software application that stores and manages a user's passwords for various online accounts. A user can store account login information for all their accounts in one place, therefore only having to remember one main password. One thing to keep in mind, however, is that you shouldn't rely on password management systems that are built into web browsers. Browsers will ask if you want to save a password or autofill information. You should always click no. They can't compete with dedicated services which have a lot of useful features, offer a more powerful interface, and are a lot more secure. How can you tell if one of your accounts has been compromised? If you have trouble logging in, then you should know that someone might have accessed your account and changed the password. Online applications can often send you notifications about suspicious activities, like your account being accessed from a new device or from a strange location. Always verify such activities and change your password immediately. Sometimes your friends might alert you about spam content being sent using your account. This is a red flag and you should take the necessary steps to secure your account again. Always change your password whenever an account is compromised. This concludes the password management section of the CyberGenerations virtual workshop. Check out our next video where we will cover common internet threats.